Hello my bunnies, it's Tiki's Trinkets here, and today I have for you another polymer clay tutorial. I am wearing a sweater too, just wanted to say that, and I have a cozy blanket because it's cold and I live in the south and it's not usually this cold. Anyways, into the tutorial information, I have really been into Deltarune, is that how you say it? Deltarune, Undertale 2, the game. You know, it's an anagram, they just jumble the words around. Jumble the letters around, and I really like the characters, the main 3 characters, so I decided I'm going to do a tutorial for each of them. The first one I started with, obviously, is the main character. I started with Kris, so here's a good overview of Kris here. Sorry, I haven't filmed in a while. There we go, okay. As you can see, I decided to give him a heart instead of his sword in the game, because you can, you know, be a pacifist or you can fight, and I decided what's better to represent a pacifist than hearts, kind of like in the first game. I won't spoil anything if you hadn't seen the first game, but it's been out for years now, so you might want to get with it. I also gave him the scarf that he gets in the game, and he is fully armored up. There are no back pictures of him really, only side pictures and forward-facing pictures, but I decided to give him back armor as well. And I just kind of based his hair loosely on what it looks like in the game. And his expressions is just kind of emotionless, and he has no eyes because he really doesn't in the game. And the next character I will be doing is Rousey, I think is how you say his/her name. The little king monster thingy from the very beginning of the game that you meet. But yeah, and I'm just going to show you how to make that, and look forward in the next few weeks to seeing the tutorial for Rousey and Susie from the game. And I might do other minor characters here and there if you guys enjoy this a lot, which I really hope you guys do because I love this game myself. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram so you can see photos of the things before I actually get the YouTube videos up, and so you can get a heads up on when I'm posting and what I'm posting. Alright, that's enough blabbing. It's 2 whole minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into this tutorial. See you guys there. Alright, for this tutorial you'll need the following colors: black, red, blue, light blue, and silver. And we're going to start with the black. By the way, if y'all hear some kind of creaking sound, my heater's running. It's cold here, like I said, so just ignore it. I just took off a very good hunk, which is probably almost half of 2 logs of clay from the pack. And you're going to go ahead and roll out these balls. Just kind of use this as like a sizing chart with the measurements on the desk to help you out. The largest one, which is about 1 inch in diameter, just to give you an idea of where to start. You're going to roll that in a teardrop shape. How all of my videos start. And then you're going to cut the tip off. It sounded inappropriate. And then you're going to press it against the surface of your desk so that it's flat on the bottom half. Next, we're going to use the 2 balls that are in the front to make the legs. So the first thing you're going to want to do is roll these into teardrop shapes as well, just like this. Well, more like long log shapes that are fatter at one end. Then line them up side by side and cut it on a bias on the top parts to the left and to the right, and then flat on the bottoms of them. Then put the bias pieces on the backing of the legs. Sorry, this photo is so dark. This is over the course of several days, so the lighting's going to change a lot. Next, we're going to do the largest ball the second largest ball I had at the top. You're going to press it flat against your work surface with the palm of your hand so it stays rounded on one side and flat on the other. And that's what this one looks like. The other ball that we had left, just set that to the side for now. We'll come back to it shortly. Next, we're going to go on to the light blue color. I know I'm doing it out of order, but this is the easiest way to do it. You'll just have to wash your hand in between colors. Go ahead and roll out these 4 size balls for it. The blue ball is almost as big as the body, just a little bit smaller. I made this a little bit smaller, I believe. Actually, I kept it the same size, but it is still too large, so make sure you make it a little smaller. First, I took the ball and rolled it at the top to make it into like a fat teardrop shape. And then where the top was, about halfway down, I pressed my index finger on it so that it would make a curved shape like this. And I'm also going to show you a side view to give you a good idea. And it doesn't matter if it's flat on the back of the head. We actually want that. Here's the side view, but you see how it kind of curves inward? That's exactly what you want. Next, back to the other balls, we're going to start with this little guy right here to make the neck on the sculpture. That's why this one's the smallest. You're just going to roll this into a little teardrop shape as well. And then you're going to cut off the top and the bottom so it's flat on both sides, like so. And then you're just going to stick a metal tool into the body and then stick this on the tool, the metal wire, so that it's the neck. I also made it more narrow at the top just so it fits in the head better. Next, we're going to use the last two light blue balls, and we're going to roll these into these elongated teardrop shapes like before. These are going to be his arms. Its arms. I'm not sure if Kris is a guy or a girl, but again, cut it at a bias and cut it from the left and to the right, and then stick that to the body. And you can go ahead and glue those on. You can leave them unglued if you want. It's up to you, but I didn't have to take them back off. Then I just took a metal poking tool and poked a hole into the head so that it would fit on the body. And just go ahead and test it out and make sure it fits the way you like. Next, we're coming back to this black clay, so make sure you wash your hands. And then we're just going to take it and put it on the back of the head and just kind of pull it so that it's longer down than the head is. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it goes down further than the head does. And then just make sure you blend it into the head on the sides and the top. The bottom part you're just going to leave hanging off, and then you're going to get your X-Acto blade and cut little triangles into it to give it kind of a jagged hair shape like this. It's just going to be kind of rough. You don't have to be exact with this. Kris's hair in the game is kind of wonky anyways. Now we're going to take that last ball of black clay we put to the side to make the bangs. So you're going to roll this out nice and flat. Try to make it as thin as workably possible. Then you're going to cut off the sides and the top so that it's flat. Then just take some kind of rounded thing or just cut the sides so that they are round like that. And that's going to be the top near the head. And then the bottom down here you're going to cut one side so it looks like a triangle. Just kind of look at the pictures as I'm talking. Then cut it off so that that's one whole triangle. Then you're going to do that again on the other side so that you have 3 triangles to make Kris's bangs. And then I just attached this to the head as so, and I just kind of angled them in the direction I felt looked best. And then just take some kind of tool and blend it into the head. Be very gentle. If you squish too hard, you're going to squish the head and you'll have to start all over. Then I just put it on, and I felt like I needed a little extra on the side, so I added some scrap clay to the sides to make it pointier, and a little piece to the top to make it pointing up. Just give it more of a hair effect, you know what I mean? And this is what we have thus far. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the silver, which we're going to need a lot of it. And I was low on silver, so I just mixed this with gray so that I could stretch it farther. And this is the outcome of that. Kind of a swirly look, which is fine. It still looks cool. Still looks like armor. Okay, you're going to need a lot of balls, so just go ahead and pause this so you can roll out this many, or just take a picture or something so you can look at it for a reference picture. We're going to start with the biggest balls first so we can turn these into her feet / leg things. And you're going to take that and roll them into elongated teardrop shapes. You can do this in your hand or by rolling it on the work surface. I prefer to use my hands. Then just taking your index finger, push up so that it creates little feet near the bottom. Press it against your work surface so that the bottom of the feet will also be flat. After you do that, take some kind of blade and cut them so that they're the same size, the same length. And then you're just going to make sure it would attach to the body and just give it some fancy little line work to make it look cooler. That's what I did, just diamond shapes. Then I did little stripes on the bottom of the feet to make it look like the soles of the shoes. Just, again, looks cooler. Then I used my Loctite glue and glued the feet to the legs. And I just made sure it fit on the wooden base that I'm going to put it on. That's why you saw that. If you're putting it on a base, make sure you size it up. Next, we're going to use these 2 pieces of clay, and these are going to be the armor plating from the front and the back. So you're going to roll both of these into a teardrop shape, and then using your X-Acto blade, you're going to roll these pieces out flat. And then the front piece stick on the front of the armor. And again, just using your X-Acto blade, draw some cool lines to design it like this,
just to give it a little more definition. You know, it's an 8-bit character. You can be a little more detailed as you'd like. Then turned it around and did the same thing on the back. Pretty cool, isn't it? And now we're moving on to the next part. We're doing the shoulder pads. You're going to take the 2 balls from the top, and you're going to roll these into very chubby, pointy teardrop shapes. And after you do that, you're just going to get an X-Acto blade or a rolling pin again, and you're going to roll these out flat. Roll them out side by side so that you can make sure they're the same thickness too. And then I didn't take a picture, but just cut off the rounded tips and put it, just kind of like blend it onto the shoulders and leave the pointed parts hanging off, obviously. Next, we're moving on to the next 2 balls. These are going to be like the cufflinks sleeve thingies. Roll these into thick, elongated teardrop shapes, and then cut the top and the bottom off. Then you're going to need that poking/dotting tool again. Just stick it into the fatter end of the cufflinks so that it'll go onto the arms that we made earlier. And you're just going to put both of them on just like that. And you can go ahead and use some glue as well. And here's another picture to show you what it looks like. I also cut them and made them a little bit shorter. You don't want the arms to look ridiculously long. Next, we're going to take I believe these are the last 2 balls, the smallest balls we had up there. Roll these into very elongated teardrop shapes, making them smaller than all the other ones prior. Then just press them against your work surface using your fingers so they stay kind of puffy looking, or a little more rounded in size and shape. Then just cut the elongated ends off so that they're flat on both ends. Then using some kind of dotting tool or something or other, indent the fingers that you would have on the sculpture. And then after you do that, you can go ahead and glue those onto the cufflinks. And I glued one hand on top of the other because I'm going to make it holding the heart you saw at the beginning. It was just an idea that came to me while making it. Now we're finally moving on to the red. We're almost done now. You're just going to cut off a nice size hunk. This is maybe a ½ inch in diameter. You don't quite need that much, but you know, it just do it by eye. And this is the ball after I've rolled it all out. And then you're going to take your rolling tool and roll it out flat. Again, make it as thin as workably possible. That just means don't make it too thin or it'll fall apart. Then I just took my little rounded tool and cut twice, once on the right, once on the left, to punch a hole out of it. Then I just took my X-Acto blade and cut a whole bunch of different triangles out of it to make it kind of jagged looking like it is in the game. Then I took the head back off and placed the scarf on Kris's neck and made sure, you know, that the hair didn't hit it or wasn't in the way. Then I took the scrap clay and rolled it into a very, very small heart. A very small ball. Oh my god. It's late, y'all. I'm sorry. Then I just rolled this and squished this into a little teardrop shape. Sorry for the blurriness. Then I cut out a triangle on the top and then just rounded the sides where the points are and made it into a heart. And I kind of curled the tip a little at the bottom. Then after that, you can go ahead and glue it to Kris's hands. And then you're going to take rubbing alcohol and cotton swabs to clean it, because promise you it's going to be dirty. And as you can see, I used only 3, which is impressive for me. But, you know, it was pretty dirty. It needed it. That blue catches everything like white clay. Then I baked it at 350 degrees in a gas oven for 12 minutes. You'll need less or more time depending on your oven's settings and temperature. Then I used E6000 to glue it to the painted base and used a paint marker to draw on his face. Then I used my polyurethane floor varnish to glaze him up, and he was done and ready to go. And by the way, the blue paint's just acrylic paint. I forgot to include that. But here's the finished product. I'm so happy with how he turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. Look forward to the next few videos coming soon, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye, YouTube.